Yo, what's going on, guys? It is Ray Games, and we are back with another Ray's Ratings video. This is part 3 or episode 3 of the series. It's just by myself today. I'm going to keep my voice a little bit low because it's currently 9:42 where I'm recording. So I'm doing this late for me, but some people will consider 9:42 early, or depending where you live and yada yada yada. But today on Ray's Ratings, in the third episode, we are doing an MLB video. Now, this is going to be interesting because the MLB ratings, or not MLB teams, it was just of this season, like last season, but we are doing this based off the last decade. So from 2013 to 2023. So that time span, we are rating off of that. So let's go ahead and hop into it right now. This is unedited because I don't have an editing software. I know I should get one. But let's go ahead and get started with the first team on our list, which, as you can see by this, it is the New York Yankees. Now, the New York Yankees are just, before I say anything, I'm just going to put them in the elite category. Oh, by the way, these are the 5 tiers. Elite team over the decade, great but not elite, average, below average, and absolutely terrible over decade. Those are the few teams, or few tiers. But the Yankees, they've just been unstoppable. Although they haven't won a World Series since 2009, so they haven't won in the time span. They did absolutely just went off in the time span of 2013 to 2023, and no, this does not include 2024. Now we got the Seattle Mariners next. Now, Seattle has been one of those teams that's like up and down. Currently they're on the up, but if we're talking over the decade, they've just been on the down lately. They haven't made the postseason since 2022. I think 2022 was the first season they made the playoffs in 21 years. They just got in this year. So for that, I'm just going to put them as average, which is B tier for those of you who don't know. It is B tier because of that simple fact. Now we got the Tampa Bay Rays here. And Tampa Bay has just been one of those teams that, yes, the same things happen. They're on the rise again, but like the early 2010s, mid 2010s, they were just one of those teams that wasn't all that good, in my opinion. It wasn't all that good. I mean, they are doing some stuff now, although it could be combated for, just spending less money. I'm just gonna put them in the average tier. This average tier. Now, next we got the Blue Jays. Now, this one's going to be controversial, but before I say anything, I'm going to put them in the great team, but not elite category. Because early, from like 2013 to 2017, they were absolutely phenomenal. Great team, everyone knew them. Guys like Josh Donaldson, Jose Bautista. I mean, those are the main two that can contribute. But right now, they just, I don't know. They haven't done anything. They need pitching. Their bullpen is kind of bad. I mean, sure, they have guys like Jose Barrios, Vladimir Guerrero Jr., Kevin Biggio, Bo Bichette, Lourdes Gurriel's on the D-backs now. But yeah, they're just not good. I mean, they are good, but they're not as good as I thought they would be, like in the past. So that's why I'm putting them in the great but not elite category. Now, the Miami Marlins, in like the early 2010s or between 2013 and 2017, they were great. But ever since then, they've just been on the decline, and now they're slowly going back to what they once were. Which is like 500 as of now, and they were above 500, I believe, the last season. But they're going to be the first below average team for me. St. Louis Cardinals, last season was just an absolute disaster. It was absolutely garbage, absolutely terrible. I'm sure Cardinals fans are going to want to forget that year. But other than that, they've just been a really consistent, great team. A phenomenal team. I think the last time they won the World Series was 2011, but that's not in the time decade that I'm going off of. But they've consistently made the postseason with guys like Paul Goldschmidt, Nolan Arenado. They had guys like Yadier Molina, Albert Pujols. Who else you got? Lars Nootbaar. All those good guys. And I'm gonna put them in the great team, but not elite category. Now, Houston Astros, they've won one World Series. Now, I say one because I'm not counting 2017. I'm going to put an asterisk next to it. So I'm not going to count that as a World Series because they cheated. But other than that, they had a strategy. They knew what they were doing. They tanked. And then they've developed their talent. And they've just been up on the rise ever since. And because of that, I got to put them this might be controversial, but in the elite team over the decade category. And don't mind me, my face, I cut myself, but I'm not going to talk about that, so ignore the cut on my face right here. Atlanta Braves, this team, for me, was absolutely phenomenal. They won one World Series in 2021 where they beat the Astros. Absolutely deserved it. I gotta put them in the elite team over the decade category. Guys like Freddie Freeman, Chipper Jones that retired in 2010. I was gonna say, but yeah, guys like Freddie Freeman. You got Ronald Acuna Jr. Charlie Morton, I believe, was one. Kirby Yates, he's kind of helped. Ozzie Albies helped. Oh, just these amazing guys. Marcelo Zuna, but that could be controversial. Now, Baltimore Orioles, they were absolutely, well, I wouldn't say terrible, but from like 2013 to 2016, they were great. And then 2017 through 2021, they were just absolutely terrible. And now they're back on back what they were in the 2013 to 2016 era. So, I'm not going to put them in the absolutely terrible category. I'm going to put them probably in the below average category, but I want to put them above Miami. I'm going to put them above Miami because at least now they're starting to go on the rise again. Cleveland Guardians, now I have to call them Guardians here. They've just been consistent. Guys like Jose Ramirez, Corey Kluber, Francisco Lindor. Who else you got? Yeah, Josh Naylor was another guy that was phenomenal for the team. I mean, they've just been consistent with postseason runs. They made a World Series in 2016, although they lost out to the eventual winner, Chicago Cubs. It's amazing what they've done. So they're gonna go in the great team but not elite category. Rockies. I don't want to say they're terrible, because they did have a couple postseason runs. They've had guys like Nolan Arenado, Charlie Blackmon, Troy Tulowitzki, I believe, was in the time frame. Although correct me if I'm wrong on that. I mean, you got Yerman Marquez as another one. But other than that, they just haven't done anything. So I think Colorado is going to be the first team I put in the absolutely terrible over decade category, because they just deserve it. Now, Detroit, on the other hand, ever since like 2015, they've just been in the decline. They had that good couple seasons in 2013, 2014. But other than that, they've just been absolutely terrible. I don't know why Miguel Cabrera stayed in Detroit. Should have gone back to Miami. Should have gone back to Miami for one more season. But he wants to finish his career I think he did finish his career in Detroit. So, just because of that one thing alone, I'm going to put them in the absolutely terrible over decade category. Kansas City, now they did win a World Series in 2015. They did win a World Series in 2015. But ever since then, absolutely terrible. But that doesn't deserve an absolutely terrible over decade. That deserves a below average above Baltimore, because just for the simple fact they won the World Series. That's the only reason why I'm putting them above Baltimore. No, I'm going to put them below Baltimore but above Miami. Because right now, they're just not doing anything. Milwaukee, they haven't really done much. I mean, you got Christian Yelich, you had Carlos Gomez, Brandon Woodruff, Willie Adames, you could say. But other than that, they haven't really done much. They had a couple postseason runs, but I'm going to put them in the below average category. Now, Angels here, absolutely terrible over decade. You have Mike Trout, and you had Shohei Ohtani, two of the best players in our generation, and you don't build around those two players. You haven't made a postseason since 2014. What are you doing? Whoever's the Angels owner needs to be fired. Oakland A's, I'm just going to put them in the absolutely terrible over decade category. Sure, they've had a couple postseason runs. Sure, they've had some good players like Matt Olson, Matt Chapman, Sean Murphy, Marcus Semien, Ramon Laureano. I mean, they have a good history of players from the 10-year span that I'm going off of, but they just haven't been good. Actually, sorry, your Angels, you're going in the bottom, dude. You're going in the bottom. Philadelphia, they made a World Series in 2022, I believe. You've got Bryce Harper. You got young guys like Alec Bohm. You got Kyle Schwarber as well. You got JT Realmuto. You got Trey Turner you signed to an 11-year deal. I mean, you got players to build around, and you've got Aaron Nola, Sir Anthony Dominguez. Who else do you have? You have a good bullpen, some good arms like Ranger Suarez as well for the pitching staff. But other than that, I don't really know. But I'm gonna put them in the great team, but not elite category. Now Pittsburgh, besides Andrew McCutchen, I don't really know how they was absolutely terrible. Honestly, Angels, you get a pass because you have Mike Trout and Shohei Ohtani on the same team. So I don't know how the hell you did manage to do that, but I'm gonna go with them. Now the Padres, on the other hand, they have Fernando Tatis Jr. You have Manny Machado. You had Eric Hosmer. You have all these young guys, or some of the young guys, but you don't do anything. You were rumored in 2023 to be a dominant force, and yet you just took it all away. But I'm going to respectfully put you in the average team category. You were average over the decades, or average over the decade. Now the Texas Rangers, by the way, shout out to Texas for winning your first World Series in franchise history. I'll give you a little bit of a golf clap. I'll give you a little bit of a clap for that one. But you have guys like Adrian Beltre, Josh Hamilton. Well, Josh Hamilton wasn't in the time period, I think. So you got Adrian Beltre, but now you got these young guys that you're building around. You got Jacob deGrom, you got Max Scherzer, you have Jonah Heim, Nathaniel Lowe, Corey Seager, Marcus Semien. You had Joey Gallo, but you clearly didn't need Joey Gallo to win the World Series last season. But I think this team has a bright future, but they do not belong in the great team yet. I'm going to put them in like high average. They're like on the verge of great team. They're on the verge, but not quite. Alright. Same thing with Boston, but I'm going to put them below Texas because they've just been on the decline. You won the World Series in 2018 with Chris Sale, Mookie Betts, Rafael Devers, Xander Bogaerts, Dustin Pedroia wasn't the same ever since that injury. But what the hell do I know? Now you only have you have Rafael Devers from that 2018 World Series team. There's nothing left. Yeah, once Devers is gone, I'm still mad you decided to give him a contract extension. Now this is my team, my family's team, the San Francisco Giants. We had that one World Series in 2014 if we're talking about the time period. And fun fact, the Giants are the last dynasty in baseball to win a series of world championships in like 5 seasons. That's it. But, hear me out. Over the past few, I would say, over the past couple years, they haven't really done much. They were expected to be 500. They were 500 in 2022, and they were a few games below 500 in 2023. And they fired Gabe Kepler. And they tanked from like 2017 to 2019. They almost made the World postseason in 2020. But you had generational talents like Buster Posey, Brandon Belt, Brandon Crawford. You got guys like Evan Longoria. You got Joe Panik, who did well. Mike Yastrzemski, Austin Slater. You've just signed Korean star Jung-Ho Lee, which I'm excited about. 6-year deal. Hopefully he doesn't opt out of his contract in the 4th year. Who else? You got Madison Bumgarner. You have Sergio Romo. You have young prospects like Patrick Bailey, Casey Schmidt, Kyle Harrison. You've got Reggie Crawford you drafted, who's looking like to be a two-way player. You've got Joey Bart, but Joey Bart was a bust, so the Giants are looking to trade away Joey Bart. And you're in talks right now with Matt Chapman. Corey Bellinger hopefully comes to the Giants. That would be a phenomenal trade. You got Wilmer Flores, which I personally think Wilmer Flores is underrated. You've got J.D. Davis. You had Jock Peterson for a couple of years. Michael Conforto as well. Now, and he's coming back next season. I mean, I could go on and on. But the Giants are not an elite team over the decade. You had the great year in 2021, which nobody expected. So I'm going to say the Giants, they had a couple postseason runs. And they had a World Series. They made the postseason again in 2021. I believe for the first time since like 2016. I'm going to put them above the Rangers, but not quite in the great team, but not elite category. Dodgers, obviously an elite team. I don't want to even talk about it. Yeah, you know why the Dodgers are an elite team. The Arizona Diamondbacks. Now this one is interesting because the Diamondbacks, on one hand, phenomenal team as of right now. But on the other hand, they're just one of those teams that, you know, on paper, you wouldn't expect them to make the postseason, hell, even win 81 games. But they somehow managed to beat the Dodgers, sweep them in the NLDS, and go to the World Series last year, but unfortunately lose to Texas. I mean, with guys like Paul Goldschmidt that you've had over the years, and now you got Evan Longoria, you got Lourdes Gurriel, you got Zach Gallen, Corbin Carroll, to name a few guys. I'm sure there's other guys too. Just absolutely good, but I'm gonna put them. That might be controversial. I'm gonna put them in Come on. I'm gonna put them in below average. I'm gonna put them in below average for right now. Now New York Mets, they've just been honestly terrible. Their decision making is bad. You signed Max Scherzer, you signed Verlander, you traded them away. You have Francisco Lindor, you got Pete Alonso, you had David Wright, you have these great outfielders, but you just don't do anything with them. I mean, you got Edwin Diaz for your bullpen, for your closing spot, which is phenomenal. But other than that, it's just not good. So I would say the Mets are an average. I'm going to put them right there. White Sox, probably terrible team. Terrible team. Now, I don't know much about the Twins. I don't really pay attention to the Twins players other than like Byron Buxton, Carlos Correa, Sonny Gray. Who's their catcher? Oh my gosh. We have Max Kepler in the outfield as well. I think they're below average. So I'll put them probably above Miami, but below Kansas City. So yeah. Chicago, the Cubs won a World Series in 2016. You have the great infield trio of Javi Baez, Chris Bryant, and Anthony Rizzo, the three goons of the mid-2010s. But then you traded them away in 2021 and you haven't done anything. You're starting to gain back players like Dansby Swanson. You had Corey Bellinger. He's probably not going to sign back. You have Kyle Hendricks. You had Wilson Contreras, who went to the Cardinals, and the Cardinals are terrible. But I'm going to put the Cubs in a great team but not elite. And I'm going to put them, this is controversial, I'm going to put them at the top. The only reason is because they have a World Series. Now, Washington, they've been decent, They were good in the early 2010s, mid to late 2010s. 2019, they won a World Series. And then ever since then, they've just been on the decline. They've just been terrible. Steven Strasburg's got to go. Patrick Corbin's got to go. You let Bryce Harper go for nothing. I mean, you signed Keibert Ruiz to a contract extension, but what good is that going to do? If you want to do a good team, sign C.J. Abrams. But the only reason I'm going to put them in the below average, because actually no, I'll put them in the high. I'll put them in the high below average, just because of the fact that you won a World Series. And Cincinnati is going to go in the absolutely terrible over decade category. So, this is my version of the MLB teams ranked from 2013 to 2023 in their 10-year time span. And the four elite teams over that time period were the Dodgers, of course, the Yankees, the Astros, and the Braves. Now, if I had to make one change to this, if I had to move one team from like a tier down or a tier up, I would put the Giants, biased, in the low great team but not elite category, because they did have some drop-offs, they had a couple bad seasons, but they still were a phenomenal team to watch. But that is going to be my version of this list. and I'm sorry if I was all quiet throughout the episode, guys. I just, I had to be quiet because of the fact that I was, it's 10:07 right now, and my whole house is asleep, and I'm the only one awake. So I gotta get to bed. But if you guys did enjoy, hit that like and subscribe button. We're on the road to 300 subscribers, so consider hitting that like button. Smash that subscribe button if you haven't. And let me know what other ratings you guys want me to do. Like, what other things you want me to put on a tier list? Like video games, foods. We did sodas. We did Smash Bros. Characters with Gay Business. Go check out those videos. And yeah, I will see you guys all in my next video. So have a good night, everyone. I'll see you on my next video. Peace.